Hello, everyone, and happy Wednesday. Well, all of us are obsessed with losing those teeny extra 5 pounds. I know I have been in the past and continue to do that. So, but what is the right way? What is the healthy way to lose the weight and sustain it? That is the question, $1 million question that is going to be answered by Lila Bella. She's joining me. She's a registered dietitian focusing on strategies and tactics on healthy weight loss. Welcome, Lila.
Thank you so much. And yes, I will reintroduce myself. Registered and licensed dietitian. A little bit of background. I have a background in culinary arts. Therefore, this topic in particular really hones in on what I try to practice and do daily. And I'm open to any questions. I think we're gonna just direct by questions. That way it's easier to focus on particular curiosity on. So do you want to know, what is your first question?
Yeah. So I think the first question is, a lot of us go on some kind of a random diets, like a juice diet, and internet is full of that. We know that. You do that 1 month and suddenly your belly is going from this to this, So what is the mantra? What is the mantra for healthy weight loss? And what kind of meal plans on a very high level? We are not doing the actual calorie counting here, but what are your suggestions?
I always say when an individual approaches me with that question, I always want to know what their main motivation is. Now, there's two ways to go about it. Is it a motivation as a short term, trying to fit into a dress for a special event? Or is it because you are starting to feel unhappy with the way you're feeling from the weight that has been gained? So when you can determine your main motivation, it allows me to find the approach. If it's a short-term motivation, we need to first understand that the strategies to approach that weight loss are not sustainable. And most of the time, 80% or higher, most individuals just want to lose weight because they want to have more energy, they want to feel better, they're not happy where the past few months have been for them. So then we approach weight loss as not a strategy, but a development of new patterns and new habits. So first I ask what your motivation is, and then I start to figure out what kind of got you to that place. Was it you started working from home, you no longer started doing this activity, or you started cooking more? So by understanding what got you there in the first place, I rather focus on those behaviors and start to make improvements. I know that seems a little not so concrete, but if you want to enjoy this journey and this process, you need to first understand where it came from, where the weight gain came from, and then be open to making changes because you are gonna learn to embrace those changes. So if I say, well, you have to do 150 minutes of exercise and you need to stay under 1,500 calories, you might succeed for about 2 weeks, but we probably will have the same conversation in about 2.5 weeks. So I'd rather you save time, start the bottom from the bottom up correctly, start to make small, gradual, healthy changes, whether it's once I determine that we're skipping meals, once I determine that most of your meals are coming from processed foods, we can start making changes. So in essence, understanding what you want to do is weight loss, but why you gain the weight, and then no matter where all these reasons came from, in the end, to sustain a healthy weight and weight loss journey, we need to make sure we are eating consistently. There's a lot of approaches. There's from intermittent fasting, there's keeping certain foods, no carbs, no protein in the morning. Those are more individualized. And again, that goes back to what individual needs are. But if I can talk in a more general recommendation, consistent meals help for many reasons. They help maintain your metabolism. They help keep your hunger at bay so you're not overeating. So it's just being conscious of how often you're eating and then making sure that your meals are actually balanced. If you're waking up and you really are only having a slice of toast, there's no protein in there. So there's nothing to sustain that appetite. or if you're not adding a healthy fat in that meal, again, helping sustain that. What many people don't realize also is when you go too long without eating, it really does affect your hormonal, it has hormonal changes in you, which can also cause anxiousness. And anxiousness can then lead to cravings and undesirable food choices. So as you can see, there's a whole wide spectrum of things to consider when it comes to weight loss. I think we just have to be very careful on what we start to, the approach we do. It doesn't hurt to even speaking with a dietitian, making sure you are on the right path, because everyone is, in essence, every physical body is different. And you can try to follow the same specific pattern as someone else, but your hormonal changes might be different. The way that you digest certain foods are different. There's a lot of things to look at. So it's very easy to become very discouraged when we try to just go online and follow an approach. If you don't understand how your body works, it'll be really hard to work with it.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is very individualized, but for this particular session, we just want to keep it on a very general level, right? So just give us some general recommendations on sustainability of the weight. Once, let's say, someone loses 10 pounds or whatever, they have the goals. How do they sustain it? I mean, we just need general recommendations, whether you were talking about focusing on healthy plate, whether we're talking about maybe up doing the protein or the fiber. That's the kind of general recommendations that we would like for at least this session.
I would say, well, let me start first with weight loss. If we are trying to get on a route for weight loss, it all starts with understanding how much you're eating, being more mindful of your portions. So whether it's measuring things, you are weighing things, keeping track of that, and sticking to high volume foods so that your body can get more full and satiated, and really watching the calorie dense foods, which we know are going to be from fats. So being mindful of the added fats that you're adding in foods, and sticking to the whole base food approach, real food. So in the morning, having a balanced meal that includes protein, carbs, and a healthy fat. You can start your day with some eggs, slice of toast, whole grain toast, or you can do sweet potatoes and an avocado. I mean, a portion of avocado, but just really keeping those portions in mind. I think it really helps individuals starting with tracking, because they start to have an idea on how much they're actually eating, when they're eating, and how. But if tracking can be a little complicated, just making sure you are following that balanced plate, which is usually a 9-inch plate, 50% of it non-starchy vegetables, having a whole complex carb, and then a lean protein, and keeping your 3 main meals like that, then 2 snacks in between, also a carb and a portion or a protein, to kind of keep that consistency throughout the day.
So is there some kind of a calorie count or something that we should follow as a woman? I should have X number of calories. As a young person who's growing up. So is there some kind of a calorie count, like according to the age, according to the, gender, that we should follow?
Again, I try to strain away from staying within giving numbers like that, because everyone, again, is in a different, if we're talking about a healthy individual, but are we trying to consider that they're overweight now and they want to lose the weight, or what? Because throwing numbers can really throw off individuals, and then they start to follow a number that may not be realistic for them. So we have to be careful. A lot of your calorie needs are based on your height and also your activity level. There's a lot of formulas online that you can just, if you want to gauge an idea, input your age, your activity level, and your height, and it'll give you a general idea of what your calories should be to maintain. And then you can subtract about 300 calories every day from that number to start seeing weight loss. Because to see that weight loss, we do need a deficit. And usually a 500 calorie deficit a day will lead for a pound of weight loss. But 500 calories can be a little extreme for individuals to just cut off. So I always encourage 250 from food, and then adding 250 of physical activity calories. So about 25 minutes of moderate intensity. That way it's an actual gradual change that you enjoy the process.
And then we have to maintain it, right? Like, let's say, in the sense of a good maintenance plan could be having balanced meals and uptaking, maybe increasing the exercise part. That's what I'm hearing from you, and maintaining that over like every single day to maintain what you have now accomplished, right? Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, once you have reached the lower weight, you're gonna weigh less, your calorie needs are gonna be less. Therefore, it's not about now adding calories again, because you're eventually gonna gain the weight again. So as you get comfortable understanding how much calories you're intaking, you become better at gauging the number that your body feels comfortable. And again, everything is a constant adjustment. If you start to notice that your calories, let's example, you stay at 1800 calories, you're losing weight, and then eventually you hit a plateau, maybe amping up your intensity of your physical activity or cutting back a little bit more on calories. But if you start to see that you're losing weight, you're continuing to lose weight, but you're like, no, I don't want to lose any more weight, I'm good, you can afford to add maybe a snack. But everything is just adjusting. It's not that you lose the weight, add 1800 calories, and then you jump back to 2000 calories, because unless you add physical activity, you're going to gain the weight back. So, but you learn this information through your journey, as by now you already are comfortable knowing what your breakfast is, what's an appropriate breakfast. You've already gotten used to your routine. You got used to your breakfast being either the oatmeal or the eggs with toast. Your lunch is always a large salad, but you learn where your body starts to see the changes. Half of the time we gain the weight back because our diet was too strict, or it didn't really adjust to our lifestyle. So we try to follow something that was not realistic. And again, that's another way that speaking with a dietitian can help. It's helping you adjust to changes, especially during travel. What you're doing is not wrong, but getting the second pair of eyes will really help and see, you are in this time frame, you're not eating much, or you're eating the most calories. But keeping back to the whole, trying to aim for consistent meals, balanced meals, so that you're not creating unnecessary cravings. A lot of the times that weight gain is from not so much the plan you're doing, but the additions that we're doing to it. Things that we're buying that were not part of the plan, things that are processed.
Okay. Well, this is just an overview of cultivating healthy habits, right? And making modifications, small modifications, as you're suggesting, and making sure our plate is a healthy plate according to the CDC guidelines, right? And increasing the exercise part, so that there's a gradual shift of weight loss
of energy balance.
And energy balance, because that's what most of us, like I have that problem. I can't balance my energy. Suddenly now I start getting hunger pangs, and then now again it's back to square one, right? So I think it happens to most of the people out there, that it's difficult to balance the energy, especially when you are kind of on a downward path, of weight loss. So the spurts of those hunger pangs would come, and then it again goes back. I think it's the delicate balance of how do you balance your energy with sustainability of eating healthy and making sure the exercise is kind of modulated to a point that it starts on a downward path rather than an upward path. I mean, that's at least there's not a direct answer to that, because if we understand the human body and outside environmental factors, stressors, a lot of if you were approaching me with this barrier, I'm having cravings. First, I would say, well, let's approach physical activity more as movement, something that you enjoy. So just starting with 15 minutes of walking, because you might think, oh, it's only 15 minutes, I should be doing 30. Removing that I'd rather you do 15 minutes every day than feeling like if you don't have time to do 30, you skip it, then you're not consistent. So we focus on consistency. But not only is that helping you burn calories,
but indirectly it's helping you build more endorphins and also helps continue with that hormonal balance. It avoids creating more cravings. So a lot of your cravings are also stemming because of the anxiousness, and anxiousness can be resolved from adding activity. So that's a suggestion, instead of just being like, well, just eat less, or there's so much we got to look at into. And then approaching consistent 15 minutes every day until you enjoy it. Then you can start increasing it, but that is going to lead to a longer success than, well, I know I need to be doing 30 minutes, 5 days a week for 150 minutes a week. Like, that's just, no, I just want you to take care of your body, give it the movement it wants and needs. And it's 50, at least starting with 15 a day. And you might feel that you won't have as much cravings, but then also being mindful of when you are, the timing of your meals.
Okay, yeah, the timing of the meals is important. Like if you don't eat late, like, and then the food is still kind of sitting out there. Let's say if you have your meal at dinner at 9 p.m. and then there's not enough fasting in between. I mean, it's a very complicated thing, right?
But I would always ask, why are we eating so late? And why are you overeating so much at night? So you're gonna think, is it a psychological factor? Is it stress eating? Or is it just because you're tending to skip all your meals and now you're commentating at night? So that's another shift that we gotta adjust. But by telling you, oh, you just gotta eat less, don't eat past 7, how are you gonna enjoy that? And you're not gonna succeed.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
There's a lot of questions to ask if you want to succeed long term.
Absolutely. Well, this is just a snapshot, and this is not a session where Lila is kind of deciphering my weight loss plan here.
But I think the reason why I continued, I think everyone can, this is a common trend. I am not hungry during the day. I'm eating all at night. I'm not exercising. So again, there's a lot of, you know what, even though I'm not working with all these individuals, which it would be helpful, I would say to start with, skip any rules right now. Don't engage in anything that restricts a food group, whether it's a low carb diet or it's a low fat diet. Don't do that. Approach it the right way. I'm going to start my metabolism early in the day so that I can start burning calories. High protein option are eggs. You can do Greek yogurt. You can make a protein shake. Then from there, start to be mindful. You're going to readjust the way your metabolism works. If you're not hungry during the days, because you have accustomed your body to not be hungry, and that is something we can reshift. But being mindful of that, and then you're making sure that your meals are balanced with the protein. You are eating carbs. I'm not saying go and having crackers or processed sources like breads, or it can be a good carb. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say good and bad. It can be a complex carb such as a fruit or potato, which are high in potassium and fiber if you keep the skin on. Real sources of foods that your body's gonna benefit from. You will find you will have more energy to go work out and plan for your meals. Things will get easier, but you can't force and expect immediate results, because long term, you're gonna spend more time wasting trying to get back into that same where you should have started from the beginning. Okay,
well, thank you. I think these are pearls of wisdom here and it applies to every single person out there. So thank you so much for joining us today. Anything else you'd like to add before I wrap up? I mean, she's got an amazing Insta account. I was just commenting on that. So take a look at her Insta account for sure, because, I'm going to steal some recipes from your Insta account myself.
I just started. I will be better. I also have a YouTube, and I just do small snippets of a meal prep, like, oh, Sunday at 9 p.m. This is what I'm doing. I am a vegetarian, but I also like to share meat products. I have a background in bodybuilding, so I understand that concern with protein. So take a look at my page, but my Instagram is Lila. It was Lila _ Do you mind sharing it? I'm sorry, guys. I'm using my phone, and that tells you how much I just started adding videos to that. But it allows you to be more realistic on preparing meals instead of it being picture perfect. But what is the Instagram?
Oh, it's Lila _RD Eats.
Okay, yes, Lila _RD Eats. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. And yes, to everyone else, keep supporting us. Thank you so much for your support. We are almost at 250,000 followers, and we are coming up with our platform in June. So stay tuned and keep supporting us. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.